And we have Jim DeFede, host of Facing South Florida. Jim, you had Miami Beach Mayor Philip Levine on your show. He's been very vocal about this decision for the president to get out of the accord.
He's a major part in the U.S. Conference of Mayors, and the U.S. Conference of Mayors have made it clear that they disagree with the president's decision. When I spoke to Mayor Levine, I asked him today why he opposed this, and here's a little bit of what he had to say.
For cities like Miami Beach, for coastal cities that are experiencing sea level rise due to climate change, it's almost like the United States government is working against us. We're trying to make our cities resilient. We're spending hundreds of millions of dollars, and we've been doing it on Miami Beach, as you know, and we have a president that's saying, I don't believe in it. I don't care if the globe heats up, the water's going to come across. You know, Jim, Mar-a-Lago, the house he lives on, Palm Beach, right on the ocean there, I guess maybe he plans to turn that into a water park or something in the future. I'm not sure. But it means that it shows that our country is no longer a leader in something which is so important, and he's basically saying, I don't believe it, and it's wrong.
What the president now, Mayor Levine has joined other mayors and some governors in saying that they will continue to try to aspire to the Paris Accord by doing things such as by keeping, green energy efficiencies in their own cities, by making certain requirements. So on the local level, they're going to try to do what the president is backing out of.
Well, the president's spokesman holding a press conference today saying, look, just because we've backed out of the Paris Accord doesn't mean we're not still at the table when it comes to discussions about climate change, that the United States is going to continue to try to come up with technology in order to do what we've been doing all along, which is to bring down our carbon footprint.
Well, and that's a really important point. I think one of the things that they were trying to do today in the press conference was to say, look, we're still open for business. One of the concerns is that if the United States pulls out of this deal and suddenly abdicates its role as a leader in this area, then why would other countries, the 190 nations around the world who are trying to be more green efficient and are going to look for things like solar panels, like better batteries, the U.S. had a market to try to sell to them. The United States and the EPA director and the White House today were saying, look, we're still willing to sell to other countries who are going to follow the accord. We're just not going to follow the accord.
And what's your take on Spicer and a number of people, reporters asking them, what does the president think about climate change? Yes or no? Does he believe it's actually a hoax?
What I think is even more interesting than the question itself is Spicer's answer that he just doesn't have that conversation with the president any longer. The president has made it pretty clear that he is not a believer in the science, that he's called it a hoax in the past. So I'm not, I think his views are pretty well known. He looks at it, I think the best way to look at this is Donald Trump looks at this the way he looks at most things, which is there are winners, there are losers. And if the world is winning, then somehow the U.S. must be losing. There is no win-win for Donald Trump. It's either you're winning and everyone else is losing, or you're losing and everyone else is winning.
Let me change the topic for a minute, because next week James Comey, the fired FBI director, is scheduled to testify publicly, and it's thought that he's going to say, if he's given a chance to, that the president tried to get him to tamp down or end his investigation into possible ties between Russia and the Trump campaign. But the president can block this testimony if he wants?
Well, the president can attempt to exert what's known as executive privilege, which essentially says that any private conversation that a president has with members of his staff in the Oval Office, there should be a sort of a sanctity to it, almost the way that a husband and wife have immunity, have protection from what they say to each other. The problem with this argument is that Donald Trump has pretty much eviscerated that veil by tweeting about James Comey, by talking openly about James Comey and how crazy he is and how he's a liar and how this was about Russia, his interviews with Lester Holt. So I don't know that a court would uphold, Donald Trump claiming executive privilege in this case, because he's pretty much obliterated it, and so Comey now has a chance to respond. They could still try to executive privilege. The politics of that would be bad, though, as well for them, because it would make it appear that the president has something to hide.
Well, that testimony is scheduled, if it happens, for next Thursday morning. Must-see TV. Jim DeFede, as always, thanks very much. You can watch more of Jim's interview with the mayor of Miami Beach, Philip Levine, on Facing South Florida. That's Sunday morning at 11:30, only right here on CBS4.